For the Marin Community College District Board of Trustees, there are 3 seats for this that can be elected for this election period. And as we said before, the election day is on November 5th, so it's coming right up. The candidates will have each 2.5 minutes for their opening statement, and we'll start with Brady Bevis.
Thank you. I know that this is a rowdy and well-informed group. I have 20 years experience with that at least, because I know when I was in the peace movement, if I ever wanted to have anybody to stand with a sign out on the freeway, this was the place I would come. And we had a lot of fun. During that time, actually, I was also raising 5 children and going to community colleges, and went directly from 14 years of going to night school, community college, while raising 5 kids, to going to law school. And then I practiced law in public interest in Marin County for about 10 years before running for the Board of Supervisors, and won that and served you. I worked hard, and I worked well on the Board of Supervisors. I did a good job for all of you and for Marin County, and I'm proud of my tenure there. I left exhausted after one term of 4 years because I had not ever wanted to be in a career politician, or I wanted to make a change and then go back to doing some productive work somewhere else. I did that. I traveled throughout, first of all, started with the Bay Area Economic Forum. I was recruited by them to do workforce development for the new emerging multimedia industry. At that time, a lot of people had not even heard of multimedia, and unfortunately, a lot of community college instructors and teachers hadn't either, or at least they heard of it and didn't know exactly what to do to teach to it. So I myself created the first public-private partnership around economic development in the state of California around multimedia. And throughout that entire time, it was a great project. We produced 4 books, and we did a major website that connected business directly to community colleges so they could train to up-to-date skills. I then replicated that model throughout the state of California for other industries as well, for the Department of Labor and the Employment Development Department. Now, I want to do that here because we have emerging industries, we have biotech, clean industry coming to Marin County. They're here in Marin County. And what is our community college doing to better prepare a local workforce for high-paying careers where they can afford to live here, where their parents live, where their grandparents live? That's what I want to do.
Thank you, Brady. The next candidate is Diana Conti.
Good evening. It's wonderful to be here, and it's wonderful to see so many people who care about local races, and especially who care about the College of Marin race. And I know this is a crowd that follows it and watches it. I'm honored to have been board president for 2 of my 4 years on the board, and really proud that together with my fellow trustees and the college president, we have achieved a very significant turnaround for the college, and it's thriving. All of our bond-funded projects are now on track, and we're working in collaboration with the community. We have unconditional accreditation. The number of degrees awarded has jumped by 40%. We've implemented plans to pay off the unfunded liabilities and eliminate a structural deficit. Our long-standing labor disputes have all been resolved, and our new fundraising department has already raised nearly $500,000. Issues with the foundation will be resolved soon, pending the review by the State Attorney General's office. My future priorities, in addition to keeping all that on track, is to create a long-term vision for the IBC campus, working closely with the Novato community to increase fundraising and have greater partnerships with businesses. We've come a long way. we're on the right track, but we have many multi-year plans that have to be implemented, and it's going to take a lot of hard work and diligence to make sure that happens. I'm excited about an even brighter future. I'm running for re-election because I want to continue to make COM even better. If you'd like more information about my background, issues, and endorsements, my website is contiforcollegeboard.com. I'm really excited about the real potential that we're achieving now for an even brighter future for the College of Marin, and I ask for your vote.
Thank you, Diana. The next candidate is Barbara Dolan.
My name is Barbara Dolan. I have humbly served and been returned to office 7 times. It is an honor to be able to serve at the College of Marin, a real asset to this county. I was only in my 20s when I myself was a student at the College of Marin. I went on to attend the university at San Francisco State and get a teaching credential. I have a lifetime teaching credential. I went on to do graduate work at University of San Francisco, and I received a master's equivalent in library science, which enabled me to teach kindergarten through grades 14 through the community college. I have been a substitute throughout the Bay Area, as well as teaching in the Dixie School District and the Kentfield School District. Following that, I founded BMI, an executive search firm. I was nominated for Who's Who in America during that time. I'm running so I can continue to be a voice for the students and the community which I serve. I have no vested interests. That makes me a little bit in a different position. I can support one group one time and maybe not the next time. So I have identified 5 student groups that we serve, and I would like to see us target our funding to be very clear to the public and those groups that we serve how much money in our limited budget we will give to each one of those groups. I'm talking about the less able, the ADA, our senior and the emeritus programs, our transfer students, our English as a second language, and our job training career programs that we have offered. I think we need to meet student needs and be extremely clear exactly what they can expect, how long they need to go to accomplish what they need. I would appreciate your support to be a voice for those students and the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Wanden Treanor.
Good evening. I'm Wanden Treanor, and I want to begin by thanking the Redwoods and the League of Women Voters and Elizabeth Moody in particular, and all of you for coming out tonight and staying to at least the 3rd panel. It is truly a privilege to be one of the trustees of our community college. I'm excited about what's happening at both our campuses at IVC and Kentfield, and I am proud to be part of this vibrant and dynamic public institution. A little bit about me: I'm a lifelong resident of Marin. I'm an attorney practicing in San Rafael for the past 28 years, and I've served in numerous professional and nonprofit boards. I've served as president of the Marin County Bar Association, also as president of 10,000 Degrees, formerly the Marin Education Fund, Planned Parenthood of Marin, and many others in the county, primarily about serving the underrepresented, I might add. I understand that to be an effective community college trustee, one must know what is needed to support student success and maintain accreditation. I have these skills and a proven track record of making difficult decisions. Regarding accreditation, I have spoken at several of the statewide community conferences on the role of the board in the accreditation process. I know what to ask of staff, and I understand the leadership the board must provide. Regarding student success, I understand that not every student wants to transfer to a four-year institution, but I believe that every student should be able to set educational goals and achieve them. Student success is about setting goals, defining plans, and achieving the academic or workforce training goals. It's the board's responsibility that the resources are there at the college to support every student in his or her path. I was fortunate to have been the co-chair of our 2004 countywide campaign. Thanks to the league, was successful. We've been able to complete 4 new buildings, modernize 3 facilities, and there is much to celebrate as we begin construction of our final phase of the projects, our new academic center on the corner of College and Sir Francis Drake. It is my hope to continue serving as a trustee of one of Marin's greatest community assets. I, Wanden Treanor, ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we come to the question part. If you raise your hand, Claudia will bring a microphone to you, and the candidates will have 1 minute to answer the questions, and we'll start with Diana. Is there anybody who has a question for the community college
There
district?
goes, sorry, I knocked down my name tag
Questions?
by moving the...
Raise your hand. I don't see any hands raised. Okay.
Okay.
This is a question I was going to ask the previous group, but it turns out that it's appropriate here too. The great movement in America and around the world is all about mathematics and science. And the trouble from my frame of reference is that we don't do enough in the way of developing young children to be able to speak well, to be able to enjoy and contribute to the arts and so on. I wonder what your attitude is about that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think it's been problematic that we kind of have the flavor of the year in terms of academic priorities. And I think it's time to get back to a more balanced perspective. I agree with you on that.
Barbara?
Certainly math and science are appropriate, but our drive has been toward high tech, and high tech is not appropriate for some of those groups, the student groups that we serve. And so to absolutely insist that those students now have to be computer literate when they are struggling to even get acclimated to a new culture, to learn a new language, we deal with such a wide range. I think it would be very helpful to specify specifically what those students' goals are, how we can meet those goals, and be very clear about the financing to support those goals. When we meet the student needs, they will come, and they are our best resource to announce what we're doing. That's our end product. Thank you again for allowing us to participate in this.
I think it's a question of priorities in our community and throughout the state. California used to be one of the top in the state for education per student, and we're at the bottom. And I think that really what it is a society has to say it's important if everyone in the community has a fair education, an opportunity to achieve their potential. At the College of Marin, we have to take every student as they come to us. And in Marin County, with all due respect to our prior panelists, 26% of the students coming to College of Marin are remedial. That's not something we can change, but we can support them in the process so they achieve their goals. We as a society and in the whole have to look at some of the funding questions that were raised in the other panels relative to how we support and encourage education and creativity so that there are truly brains that are activated, alive, and engaged. And that's a much larger question than the College of Marin can answer.
Thank you. Is there another question?
Brady.
Oh, Brady, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, that's all right. No, she probably, that's because of the fact that I'm the only non-incumbent here. So I actually don't have to defend the college, so I'm going to use my time for something a little different, and that is that I would like to tell you the reason why I'm running is because of the fact that we have an Indian Valley campus. And has anybody been up there? It's in Novato and Ignacio, and it's incredibly underutilized. Meanwhile, we have a large population. In fact, about 25% of the people who are paying for that bond measure come from that area. And has been dedicated to more of a workforce development campus. Where is that happening? It's barely emerging now under a new dean. I think we need to have much more emphasis on that. Novato hasn't had a representative on the community college board for years. It's time they were represented.
Thank you, Brady. I'm sorry.
No, I thank you for the opportunity.
Is there another question?
Well, I was going to really ask just about the same thing, that I knew that IVC was having trouble getting students, and I think even Kentfield is having a little bit of a problem now too in getting students that go on to four-year colleges. So I would like to hear what you are doing with the district to approach these problems.
Okay, this will start with Barbara.
Many of you may not know, when I was instructor, some of those same instructors are still there. Last spring, 43 of our best faculty members and teachers left. They retired, and the concerns are going to be a big challenge. Indian Valley at one time had the fire training program. For whatever reason, that program was dropped. I opposed that at the time. And today, the Petaluma Center has over 6,000 students that are not only teaching the fire training, but they're doing police and medical. Somehow the ball got dropped. I have been a trustee for both campuses. I have been through the ups and downs many times. There will continue to be challenges. And just looking at one campus is not enough. I have been up there many times, and with your support, would continue to do so.
Wanden?
It's a question of economics in large part, and I know Elizabeth knows we've tried many different projects at the Indian Valley campus, including one that was extremely successful, our nursing sim lab, with partnerships with Kaiser, Marin General, Sutter, Dominican University, Sonoma State. And we brought the computer dolls there so that all the nursing students and nursing continuing ed could be trained on those dolls. It was so successful, all of those partners got their own dolls. We try many different opportunities, and particularly partnering. We did at one point have 500 students at IVC. We now have 1,300 to 1,500. We planned for a dip in enrollment that's been indicated in the papers because we needed to right-size the institution. It was planned to allow people to retire. We couldn't afford the top end of the salaries, frankly, and we needed to be creative in how we could expand other course offerings that were greater need by our current students. So I think the bottom line is we're thoughtful in the decisions that we're making.
Thank you. Brady?
Yes, right now we have several economic commissions and economic vitality task forces and all that are working throughout Marin County. And their one conclusion is that education is the biggest priority. And the reason for that is because we have emerging industries again, of biotech, bioscience, clean energy. We have several of those. This is an innovative county, and it's an intelligent county. And because of that, it comes up with these new kinds of businesses that require skilled people to be able to learn entrepreneurial skills, to be able to learn, have organic chemistry and biology classes. We have the Buck Institute on Aging that is going to be building a $600 million incubator that's going to require biotech people and all that. This is an ideal location at Indian Valley for being able to be a feeder for all of these new and innovative and high-paying jobs. And I want to be able to be there to help make it happen.
Thank you. Diana?
There's a lot of parts to that question, so I'll try and go through it as rapidly as I can. First, the enrollment on the Kentfield campus, or overall in the college. The enrollment is down, but it's less than 10%. And it really, some of it has to do with the increased fees, because it went from $26 a unit to $46 a unit. Used to be free in the 80s. But a lot of it is that in order to eliminate our structural deficit, we had budget cuts as the rest of the state did. We are offering fewer courses. We are now getting, the property tax base is going up. We're starting to add that back. So you'll see it going up. But at the same time that it's gone down slightly, the success rates have gone up and the graduations have gone up. For IVC, that's why it's one of my priorities if I am honored enough to be reelected and have a second term, is to really sit down and with all of the local community and figure out what the priorities need to be. I believe if you build it, they will come. Oh.
Thank you. Is there another question? Okay.
I'm very interested in environmental issues, and I appreciate the work at IVC on LEED building and programs. But I was specifically wondering about transportation, and does the community college integrate with the bus system to work out schedules to be convenient? As I understand it, I think there's no longer a possibility for Marin City people to get to Marin Community College in a reasonable amount of time.
Wanden?
Well, actually, it was a topic at our board meeting last night, and that's a good thing. Also, I would add that our EIR for our projects, for our bond projects, did have a transportation component, and we did address, as was mentioned by the Mill Valley City Council members, looking at other modes of transportation and trying to encourage that. But specifically, last night the discussion was we are in the process of developing a survey to find out from our current students how they're getting there, what their issues are relative to transportation. And I learned last night for the first time that some of the bus schedules don't align with our students' schedule. And I think that if we have a critical number of students, that certainly I believe TAM, the Transportation Authority of Marin and the Golden Gate Bridge District, would work with us relative to that, and making sure that we could be more efficient and effective in integrating and working well together to make sure that that is addressed.
Brady?
Okay, I somehow got bypassed when we were going on the last question. I don't know what happened. Anyway, I would like to...
You were the one that started. You were the first one.
I would like to...
You started.
You were the first one that responded to that question.
No.
You started.
Yes, you did. Then you did.
And now it's Brady's transportation issue.
Yes. Once again, I'm not an incumbent, but I can tell you what I know from living in that community, Marin County, since 1975, and that is that due to the fact that we have the lower enrollments, the classes not being offered at IVC, the classes not being offered at the times that people can take them, and the accreditation issues, we had an awful lot of young people in Novato in particular, but also the rest of the northern half of Marin County, start going to Santa Rosa JC. That's a transportation problem. That's creating a transportation problem. And it'd be nice if they could go to school and get those classes and get that competency and education right here at home.
Thank you, Diana.
As Wanden mentioned, it's ironic, the question, because we did discuss this at the Board of Trustees meeting last night. And so basically, in a nutshell, they're focusing now to really get very clear with the specific transportation gaps that our students are experiencing, and now they're reaching out to the different transportation organizations and authorities to try and get accommodation on bus schedules and routes in order to do something about that. There's also still a larger macro issue, which is public transportation in this county is woefully inadequate. And so some of that's going to be a long-term issue. And then part of the solution in Novato, what we're hearing over and over and over again, they want more transfer courses on the IVC campus, because right now it's easier for them to go to Petaluma than to go down to Kentfield through traffic.
Thank you. Barbara?
Another thing that we're looking at, and I repeat again, if we meet the students' needs, they're going to get there. If we don't, they're not going to want to go. And if transportation is an issue, they're going to go where they can meet what they need, and that's the bottom line. Another thing that we're talking about are the public-private partnerships, and I think that those need to be evaluated in terms of what the student gains out of that. And from what I've been able to determine, this has been a huge success for businesses that are going to profit from all the software, equipment, the servers, the maintenance, everything that goes with high tech. But the student gains on that, particularly for some of those student groups that I mentioned we're trying to serve, of the 5 student groups, they don't have that much that they can see that they're going to gain from all that, but it is a great expense for the college. And that's why I've said we should target the funding toward those 5 groups and their needs.
Thank you. We'll get into the closing statements now, 1.5 minutes each, and we'll start with Wanden and work our way this way.
Well, start again by thanks and appreciation for all of you, and hope that you go back tonight and you'll check the little box that says Wanden Treanor. But the reason I want you to do that is because I think I have served well, and I want to continue serving. If I were to look at, I was a volunteer in service to America. I have done a lot of public work in terms of legal aid society and other work that I've done, as indicated by 10,000 Degrees, making sure that low-income students get a chance to go to college. And I think that really what College of Marin is a place where people that wouldn't otherwise have a chance can create a future for themselves. And if I were to look at where could I make a difference and contribute my time and talent, I am grateful that I've been able to do it at the College of Marin. I grew up here, and I want to continue serving, and I hope that you will support me on November 5th and vote for me either tonight or tomorrow when you go back to your ballot. If you have any question about my qualifications, my endorsements, Brady, Diana, and I have been endorsed by the Marin Independent Journal and by the Pacific Sun. My website is Treanor4 collegeofmarin.com, and I have significant endorsements that I'm sure many of you would recognize the names. I want to serve, I want your support, and I want to thank you. And I want to thank the Redwoods and the League of Women Voters for creating this opportunity for us to engage with you and to help inform you about one of our most important public institutions, the College of Marin. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbara?
You've liked my presence through the years, and I've helped both campuses weather many storms. I don't think that those storms are over yet. I have, because I have no vested interests. I accept no money. I pay for my own campaign statement that appears so that I am free to vote on the merit of the issue, totally. I have been pleased to serve, going from a student now, working through the community, raising my family, living here with my husband, and we've raised 6 children between us, and I have 5 grandchildren now. Many of them have attended the college. I am a product of that myself, and I would continue to seek your support. I'm running so I continue to be a voice for the community. The oath I take is to serve you, setting aside my interests. This is not about me, but it is to bring a voice for those students who feel that they may not have anybody else who is listening to their concerns and what their needs are. So I would like to continue in that role. It has been an honor to serve, and I look forward to continuing with your support in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Diana?
I'm going to close by telling you a little bit about me personally, because I just dove right into the issues at the beginning. What I do for a living is I've been a CEO of nonprofits for more than 30 years, and I'm currently CEO of one that serves people with developmental disabilities. Many of our clients really rely on educational systems through the community college district. I have 3 grown children and 5 absolutely wonderful grandchildren who are great joy in my life. My stepson is a community college success story. He had ADHD, barely got himself through high school, went to work after high school, did okay in sales, wanted something more in his life, went to College of Marin in Diablo Valley, wanted to be a filmmaker, got himself into USC Film School, graduated, and he's now working as a director. That's what we need to provide for all kids who want that. I'm proud of where the college is headed. I can see the work that needs to be done. I am proud to have been part of a big turnaround. I would be honored to be able to serve again, to continue to make sure that all students of all ages get a quality, affordable education that they deserve. And I ask for your vote.
Thank you, Brady.
Yes, in urging you to vote for Treanor, Conti, and myself, Brady Bevis, I want to remind you that we are a community. It's a community college. And that doesn't just mean the students that we've talked about in the prior high school and unified school districts. It means also the lifelong learners, their emeritus. For example, someone was mentioning earlier the question of the public television access. A partnership. We could provide many more classes through the public access than we do now. We could offer Khan Academy remediation and help with some of those math and engineering. There are lots of things we can do through that thing we're calling public-private partnerships. What it means really is we go out into the community. We find out what business needs. We find out what lifelong learners need. We find out what young people need. We find out what the community needs. We're obligated to do that, to serve the community. Let's put the community back in the college.
Thank you. Thank all of you for coming here tonight and answering questions. Thank you all for being here.